ask why, then he originally introduced himself as Abel. To understand this, we need to remember a few scenes from episode 7. Obviously that between Kinger and Scratch, some kind of conflict happened a long time ago, and apparently it was strong enough that Kinger remembered it even while being in a lit room. I'm sure that Scratch perfectly understood that Kinger would at least be surprised by his return, and so, as not to destroy his plan from the start, a decision was made to temporarily not tell Kinger about everything that was planned. We also remember that Scratch, or Abel, that he was one of the first characters to end up in the digital circus, but he got stuck with a mannequin body. At the same time, we see that Scratch had a unique body. To understand how this happened, we need to briefly remember how abstraction works. In short, when turning into an abstracted monster, the character's code gets corrupted, which is what leads to the transformation into this creature. What if Scratch was also on the verge of abstraction? However, his code didn't work the way it was supposed to, and instead of turning into an abstracted monster, Scratch got stuck inside the mannequin body. Understanding this, and the benefit of such an outcome, is exactly why he started developing the escape plan. Now let's move to Kane's words in the final scene.
You mean this was all—
An adventure! Yes! And one I've been cooking up for a good long while!
Our administrator very confidently stated that this was his adventure that he had been developing for so long. In that case, I have one huge question. If all of this was originally planned by Kane, then why did Abel, let's call him that for convenience, watch all the characters for a very long time? There was no point in this. If Kane wanted to gather some kind of information this way, then why create a mannequin for that if he himself could easily and unnoticed do it? Maybe he wanted Abel to study the characters better this way. That also makes no sense since Kane could have just given him all this information at creation. In that case, only one correct option remains. All this time, the characters were being watched by a real human, and as we found out today, it was Scratch. In favor of the idea that this mannequin is a real character and not an NPC is also the fact that he was only noticed within the digital circus itself, although almost all major events happened during adventures. And if Kane wanted to kinda train him this way, then he could have sent him on adventures. So at this point we have several facts. Abel was originally Scratch. The plan with the bee drawn on it was also originally real, however it later ended up in Kane's hands. As for the plan, I have one more piece of evidence. Everything here is written way too well thought out and truthful, and considering what Abel told us, it's very unlikely that Kane would have access to this kind of information. Sure, he could have made it up, but agree that everything here looks extremely believable and kinda human. Having all of this, we can move to the final part of the video, where I will explain why this escape plan is real and at what moment something went wrong. Scratch actually developed the plan, and at first there was a real human inside Abel's body. Everything went off plan exactly at the moment when Scratch was telling Jax about his plan. I'm sure the show creators hinted this way, that this was the exact moment when Kane heard what was coming and started acting fast. Before we continue, let's remember something about Kane. In episode 6, we were shown this strange room for the first time, which apparently is one of the C&A offices in the real world. In episode 7, the show creators once again put emphasis on this. In episode 8, this whole topic was explored even further, however that's not really important right now. Considering that recently Kane clearly realized that his adventures are not liked by the residents of the digital circus, thereby convincing himself that he is failing at his main task, I can totally imagine that after Kane exposed the others, he did not interfere right away, wanting to watch where all of this would lead. So let's get back to the theory. After Kane found out about the planned escape plan, at first, like I already said, he didn't interfere with what was going on, and just watched from the sidelines and played along with the characters. It's hard for me to say at what exact moment Scratch was replaced with an NPC. Most likely it happened after Pomni went to Kane's office. I also noticed that a lot of people paid attention to this line from the mannequin.
But I trust all of you to make the right choice. Make the right choice.
For some reason, everyone interprets it as a reference to the idea that this whole plan is a lie, and that Abel is supposedly hinting that they should choose the red button. I'm genuinely interested in why nobody thinks that this was actually him hinting that the characters shouldn't be afraid to make the right choice and press the blue button to escape. Getting back to the main line of the video, we understand that before a real escape, the characters had only one action left. Kane understood this too, and that's exactly why when the administrator realized that the blue button was about to be pressed, he kinda connected to Jax's consciousness, and by playing on his fear of returning to the real world, literally forced him to make a choice that fully satisfies Kane. This way, he once again creates the illusion for himself that everyone is happy. Leave your thoughts in the comments and see you again soon.